Hi folks, while the Saab is out of the workshop, I thought I'd bring you a little video on how to clean original paintwork. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by that, this tractor behind me, it dates to 1939. It has always lived in a barn and it's completely original. So this paint on this tractor is getting on for nearly 90 years old, and we want to preserve the patina and originality of that, but clean up some of the dirt and rust that's got ground into the paint over the many years. Here's an example of what looks like rust, but with a little bit of cleaning, actually looks like that. So it doesn't matter what it is. If tractors aren't your thing, don't worry. The same principles could be used for a vintage car, truck, motorcycle, or even something non-motoring related. It could be anything. Because if someone said to you, take a wire brush and some sandpaper to your paintwork, you'd be worried, wouldn't you? But it's amazing how it does work. If you think it's too far gone, it might not be. So don't rush to the sandblasters and get it cleaned up. Try some of these little tips first and see. You never know, it might look better than you thought. So here are some of the tools we're going to be using. We've obviously got a couple of wire brushes here. The left one, that is a brass wire brush, and the right hand one is a steel brush. Now when it comes to wire brushes, be careful, because I purchased this red handled one here as a brass wire brush from a very well known online next day store. You know the one, and it's actually steel coated in a yellow coating. So it's not brass at all, it's a steel brush. But this one is definitely a much softer brass bristle brush. Oh, that's a tongue twister. A brass bristled brush. There we go. Right, we've got a rag, obviously. We've got some old sandpaper discs here. That's for a DA. That's a 240 grit. I think I've got some 320 and I've got some 120 as well. A couple of different types of scotch. That's a coarser one and a softer one. And a 120 grit here paper on a block there. That's for a bit of heavier rubbing down. Water in a spray bottle, and we've got another spray bottle with some oil in as well. Wire wool can also be used instead of sandpaper. Shown here I have an ultra fine grade on the left and a coarser grade on the right. This is great for paintwork, but especially chrome trim and bright work. So a good example of some of this rusty paint is here on this back wing. You can see this just literally looks brown. It's quite gritty and coarse. You can see there is orange paint there and it looks quite nice, but I've already had a go around this side cleaning this up, and as you can see there is so much more colour there, but I haven't done the back of the wing yet, so hopefully there's a bit of a 50-50 here to show you. You can see where I've got to there. This is just rusty looking. You'll be amazed at how much surface rust is actually on top of the paint. This isn't just dirt and mud, that is rust on top of the old lead-based paint. Again with the bonnet, I haven't done anything here, but I have started towards the front, and you can literally see the difference is night and day. And where I've had to stop so I didn't get too close to the decal, there's a really definite line there with the brown on top of the paint and the colour showing through there. The grill is the same. I've done the right hand side, but I haven't done the left, only this one here. And you can see the colour difference. So let's have a go, shall we? So on the wing I'm going to start with the 120 grit on the block, and I'm going to do it dry as well and just start sanding the top off of this to get back and try and start seeing some colour again. Don't forget to always wear a mask. Right, so this is where your rag comes in handy. We're just going to wipe some of that dust away. Now we're going for the finer sandpaper, and I'm going to introduce some water as well. Back with a rag. A bit more water. And now it's the scotch. And look at that. So you can see I could go a little bit more there. I have just gone through a little bit to the metal there. So that's the sort of thing to be careful of. And that's also why this is really only a job you can do by hand. You could get a DA and try it with that, but it might be just a bit too harsh. Now I need my oily mix. This is just a bit of old dirty red diesel and some boiled linseed oil mixed in here. You can use just diesel, you can use just boiled linseed oil. You could also use products like petrol oil, which dries, completely dries. It needs a few hours to do so, but that leaves a really nice wet finish, but does need redoing every year or two. Oil obviously is greasy and can stay a bit wet, but it does soak into the metal and the paint and help them preserve it. So I just mix mine with a bit of boiled linseed oil because that dries, which is nice. You don't get that sticky wet covering all over it. And if you're at a show in the summer, you don't get dust all over your tractor. Spray the oil on and then a new rag, different one, just to wipe the excess off. And there you have it. So yeah, you can now see a massive difference here on this front corner of the wing. I've just got a lot more to do. Now, with the cast iron wheels on this tractor, this is where our wire brushes can come into play. This can take a little bit more effort than sheet metal work, and of course we don't want to scratch it either, so we've got to be careful, and that's where the brass wire brush comes in, because it's a little bit softer. So I start with that first. Here we can see I've already done this top section here and these bits of webbing, but the rest of the wheel is yet to go. And this is a good example of where you can see the colour under the rust and the brown staining. And I'll just start rubbing it. And there it is, coming through. And this tractor has been washed, so it isn't just dust and mud on there. That is just ground in dirt from many, many years, and surface rust and all sorts. Right, so I'm just going to swap to the steel one, because this is a bit heavier going. Okay, I'm a little bit further on with this wheel now. As you can see, I've still got a couple of segments to do, but it's coming up really nicely, even the rim as well. But I have been cheating a little bit. I got a bit bored of doing it by hand, and I've tried something else, which is a couple of little wire brushes on a drill, brass one, which I've been mostly using, and a steel one where it's a bit more stubborn. The brass one's been really good actually to get such a big area like this done quickly. I wouldn't use this on the panel work, but it's pretty good on the cast iron. And I'm going to show you one of these segments now that I haven't done, so you can see. This just shows you the difference here and how it did look. And that genuinely is oil and grime as well as surface rust on top of the paint. So no amount of washing would clean that up to look like this. So I'm keeping the drill moving fairly quickly here and just going very lightly back and forth over the surface, not stopping in one place for too long. I'm just tickling the surface really with this. I'm not going too hard because we don't want to take any paint off. I have in a couple of areas just burnt through a little bit, which I'm a bit upset about, but that's life. I do have a slightly lighter 12-volt drill, which would be much better for this really. Little handheld one, but I don't know where it's gone. Someone's borrowed that. So there we go. I've managed to speed the process up a little bit with the brass wire brush on the drill, but do be careful if you try that. I'm still now going to scotch over it all to get rid of the rest of the last little bits of dirt and rust. And now we can give it a coat of oil. So the GoPro battery has just died, unfortunately, so I'll just finish off this clip that I was doing. We're going for that oily rag look with this tractor, but you could, if it's a car or a motorbike, you could try cutting and polishing as well. We've got a cutting compound here, so I'll just give that a go and see if a little bit of this paint will shine up. So there is a shine there, look at that. And that's just with a bit of polish and a rag. I could use an orbital polisher as well if I wanted to go even further. Let's try a bit on this bonnet. It's probably not coming out very well on the phone, but that would work. And of course you could clear coat as well with a lacquer or a varnish, something like that, and go over it. I prefer to use an oil-based product just because it gives a little bit more of a toned down look. Sometimes clear can be too shiny, but again, if it's a road going vehicle like a car, you might want that shinier look. Generally though, this sort of process is probably best suited to engine bays, wheels, things like that. When it comes to cars, your bodywork wants a little bit more delicate care. Tractors quite often end up like this. They've been left out or left in barns and they get this sort of rusty, dirty film all over them. So if you've enjoyed that, give us a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget subscribe as well so you don't miss out on any other similar videos. Let us know in the comments if you have any preferred methods as well. If there's something you've tried that works, let us know, because we might even be able to try it as well and show other people. And it's always good to share a little bit of restoration info and tips like that. So yeah, thanks for watching if you've enjoyed it. See you on the next one. Bye.